Hello, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me. I had to test the system and see everything works. Let's see. Okay. One, two, three. I don't know if the audio is working. You can see the meter is working. I'm not sure if you can hear. Okay. Cool. 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 Yeah, I never done this before, so I'm not sure if everything is properly configured. Um, this computer, long time I don't use it, so I found this webcam very old, but it works, and what really matters is not what he's gonna see. I don't know if I can share pictures. I'm not sure if he has that tool. Okay. Okay, I guess we can start. Uh, if you guys have any question or something you wanna talk about the pore injection, and then we can talk about something else if you want. Um, I figured this will be something cool to talk, or I add some delay to the chat. I'm not sure how it's gonna be. In case you type something, it's gonna be slow. I configured at the 30 seconds, so I'm not sure. Awesome. Good, good, good. Okay, cool. If you guys want, if you have a question or something, we can start from there. I am pretty sure you guys know the system, and I've seen some cars running the port injection, but you might have some question. The system is a port injection fuel system and works in with Honda. So it works with the OEM ECU, and what it basically does is supplement the fuel system is in the car. It came with the 1050 cc injectors. Uh, let's say you have the OEM fuel system without any modification, with a 1000 cc injector plus will be like a running 2000 cc injector pretty much, and it's good enough fuel for run full 85 and make around 700 horsepower wheels horsepower without modify anything in the OEM fuel system. Okay, so injection basically copying the DLS activation times. So your question will be how integrate the system, or how basically works. Um, it has a secondary ECU, a standalone ECU, and what I do a feedback with the OEM ECU, because the problem is this OEM Bosch ECU is always learning. It's always learning the fuel. So that's the main problem. For example, when you tune meth or any of these systems, when you add fuel and the ECU don't know, the ECU can sense at 25% minus and plus 25%. So if when you add that fuel, the OEM ECU is going to compensate at that percentage. Um, the problem is when you add more, you reach the limit, and that's when everything get out of control. So what I do with this port injection, basically, I have communication with this standalone secondary ECU for drive the auto injectors. So when that ECU add fuel, the OEM ECU knows, so it can compensate that. So that's the way I make it work. Basically, it's a lot more complex than that, but that's basically how it works. Hey Pedro, how are you? Um, so for that reason, the system works and is able to run fully 85 and run all the boosts you want. I mean, the limitation is how much boost you can run. Is your turbocharger. That's your limitation. With other system, when you cannot integrate this secondary ECU, that's a problem. You have just 25%, and 25% is nothing. Uh, you're not going to be able to run full 85 with other systems. I don't know if that, Roy, answered your question. I don't want to be that specific because of I don't want to confuse anybody. If I go with specific terms or try to go too in deep, I don't think people understand. I try to be as simple as possible. Uh, no, I'm reading your question, Abe. If the port injection plus high pressure fuel pump overkill, I will say not, because the most efficient way to make power is just on direct injection. That is truth. Um, because when you add fuel for the runners, the intake runners, or you put some fuel at the manifold or the charter pipe like meth and everything, that use volume of the air. So that's why it's not that efficient. Um, but yeah, it's not overkill because um, I will do a combination. For example, high pressure fuel pump and injector. So you will have more direct injection than port. Does that make sense? Um, at the end of the day, fuel is fuel. So you can use more volume with fuel on the air, but you're gonna make power. It's not like oh, just direct injection make for give you a number 1,000 horsepower, and with if you will try to do the same with port, it's gonna make 700. No, it's not that different. The difference is very minimal. So let's say maybe just direct injection, your system will make for put a number 100, and if you do a combination with port, it's gonna be 97, 90, 96. Is not that much the difference on efficiency. But yes, it's always good idea to upgrade the higher pressure fuel pump and injector. So let's say you run how can I make it simple? But let's say you plan is making 600. So you're gonna run like 400 wheels horsepower on direct injection, and the rest is gonna drive by the port injection. So when you don't need that power or that much fuel, um, direct injection is gonna take over. So it's gonna run the car normal. It's gonna consume the same. The cold start is gonna be simple, easy. Everything's gonna run normal. The how much fuel consume. On the trips, that's not gonna be affected. That's the good thing with the port injection, and that's something I don't like that much when you run big injectors. I don't know if it does answer your question, Abe. If it does, let me know. Hey man, what's up? So the port injection. So the port injection, you are not getting rid of the direct injection, right? Correct. So the port injection, what it does is just add that extra fuel when it needs, when it needs. It's not like replacing the direct injection. It's just supplementing the fuel. Is the only thing it does. And the way I configure these systems, usually I run more direct injection than port. So you keep that drivability and fuel consumption the same. Though you don't change that much. And of course, when you really need the power, it's gonna run the port injection. That sometimes is a problem with. I've seen on certain uh, person running the port injection, and when I do the service on the car, I notice the runner are very dirty, and what the hell? I mean, if you have port injection, but I notice the guy doesn't really flow the car, so that's why the port injection is not really running that much. So okay, all right, okay, yeah, cool. In your experience, how does 2000cc injector runs? The 2000cc runs good. It's just what it could be good for me, maybe it's not for everybody. Uh, the thing is that 2000cc or big injectors, you need to understand it's a mechanical part. So it's no way a mechanical part can supply like a minimum amount of fuel, and at the same time all the fuel you need for make big power. For talking roughly. I mean, I don't want to be that specific, but imagine like how to explain. For make it simple, a car making 300 wheels horsepower or 300 horsepower with 1,000 cc injector is good enough for get that idle perfect or cold start or low speed fuel. And then when you need all the fuel for the 300 horsepower, you're gonna be like in max out the injector. So if you go bigger, 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 you're gonna have better fuel for that power at top end, but the lower speed engine is gonna be difficult to manage that because it's a mechanical part. It's electromechanical. Um, so it doesn't have that much good control at low speed. And for certain scenarios, do some a couple things not that good. And for certain people, that's nothing, and they don't care. And other people very OCD, they say, "Oh yeah, sometimes it does this," and it can make it run pretty good with 2,000 cc. But don't think you're gonna have the same fuel consumption or fuel economy, all that. It's gonna change. But answer your question. It runs good. 2,000 cc runs good. If people want to consider that road, it's a good road, and it's not complicated because just replace the direct injection injectors, and that's it. And you have a good high pressure fuel pump and a good tune, and it's good to go. So how much percentage is DI and PI? That's gonna depend on, for example, if you're running OEM fuel system or not. Um, what I can tell, it's gonna depend also how much power the car is making. So let's say a car making 550 wheels horsepower. I've seen injector duty on per injection around 45-50%. That's something complicated too because, for example, a port injector can go maybe a max duty. I will say 85%. That will be the max you can push those injector safely, right? On direct injection is not the same. Direct injection, the max I will push on. Always talking about OEM ECU. So in OEM ECU, I will push around 37%, 38 max. Man, I'm just squeezing the most as I can from the fuel, right? But I seen people running like a 40%, and I don't like to do that, but people does that, and it runs good. The car runs good. Why I don't like to run that much the direct injector duty? Because let's say I tune the car and the max demand I've seen on the duty on the injector is 37, 38. That's what I tune the car, right? So whatever happens, let's say you have a condition like a wheel spin or cold temperature or something, you really need a little bit more duty, the injector is going to be already maxed out, and I don't like that. I mean, I always nice to have that amount of extra fuel in case something happened. Going back to your question, I think I've seen duty of 45, 50% on port injection, and the duty on the direct injection. I'm talking about wide open throttle, making them around that power, 550. And the duty on direct injection was like a 32%. That's what I like to have, that amount of percentage. Like I would say 70-30. That's what I like to manage on port injection. If that makes sense. Let me see another question. Yes. Okay. Pay keeps engine much cleaner. Mm, yeah, no, no. I mean, what it makes a lot cleaner is the intake runners. That's something a lot of people is worried about, and I start adding a lot of catch cans, and they think about, in the future what's going to happen if the car is in mileage of 100,000, and it's going to build up a lot of carbon deposit, because the carbon deposit, the problem is, it, it makes the valves don't seal properly, don't shut down properly. So it's gonna start losing a lot of power, misfiring. It bring a lot of consequences even on the injector. So the pore injection, yes, like the same of meth or any, if you add some fuel through the char pipe or the intake manifold, it's gonna clean all the intake runners. Um, it's gonna clean also the tip of the injectors. Um, yeah, I'm see. I wish this platform will be more complete. It's very basic. I don't see anything, because I would like to share some pictures. For example, when I pull ahead sometimes, and car running direct injection only, and car running port injection. So you will see a big difference. And this is something real. It's not like I grab a brand new head and I took a picture and say, oh, yeah, running port. No, this is cars. I work all the time. Um, but yeah, on port injection, you will see a combustion chamber, Lamo cleaner, and that's something you're never gonna have that advantage on just direct injection, no matter what fuel you're running. So yes, it does. It keep the engine much cleaner in that area. Have you got to tune a car with the full race pump? No, I already had 2000 cc injectors. Yeah, unfortunately, no, no, because people ask me, what do you think about that road, and my answer is, I think the pump is solid. It's made for a good company, um, but I don't have that much feedback yet. So my advice to the new customer is, if you want to try that road, I'm down, and let's tune the car, and let's make all the power we can make, and let's see a limitation. That will be cool. But at the same time, I have to advise them, let's wait until someone else does the pump long term, because we have seen a lot of high pressure heel pump aftermarket failure, in other manufacturers. So I try to advise my customer, get on that road, the reliable, and the for me, if I have to take apart the engine, I can take apart every day. It's fine. It's, it's my time. Yes, I lose money, because I could be working on a customer car and make money. I know I have to work on my car, right? But for you guys, every time you go to the shop, the clock start ticking, and it's counting. Is expensive. Every time, at least in my shop, when someone bring a car, I told me and ask for prices. I go, look, it's for, depends how much time I take to the job. So it's gonna be the same for you guys. When you go to the shop and you have a pump failure, um, yeah, the warranty of the pump is gonna take care of the pump, right? But it's not gonna take care of the, maybe the shipping or the labor of the mechanic. All the time the car is down. Uh, Many of you guys maybe had a daily, maybe don't. Mm, At the beginning, I had just one car, so whatever mistake or whatever testing I have to do, I have to be careful, because I don't want to be, I don't know, without car. And that's a reality for pretty much everybody, not everybody, but mostly person. So yeah, unfortunately, Pedro, I don't have an answer for the full race, because I haven't seen real data, and I can talk about the Honda Fuel System Plus, because I tuned that system. It's a solid system, but it has that limitation. Like when you try to the car I tune, it has MHI State 2, which is not a big turbo. It's a drop in turbo. It's like a pretty much a you know um, 500 horsepower rate turbo. I don't remember, to be honest. 560, I think it is. But making without port head, without aftermarket cams, the boost was around 30 psi peak. So it has the turbo has a little bit more room, but the fuel system running fully 85 was maxed out, and I had to lean out the AFR target, which I don't like to do that, but I had to if you want to run full 85. So I kind of know the limitation of the system, and so yeah, with that pump, the full race, he supposedly has a lot more room. Um, and with 2000 cc injectors, I'm not sure because that's the other problem. 2000 cc injectors or these big injectors, the OEM ECU is not that good at it. It's not like, for example, Motec, and it's not software. People, or I heard sometimes say, "Oh yeah, Honda this." No, Honda is great. It's great for what it is. It give you pretty much a mm, not close, but it's like a professional grade ECU parameters, and it's not that. The issue is the OEM ECU, the Bosch, is not designed for certain injectors. It's hardware compatibility. It's just that. So the Motec, you can squeeze or you can manage a lot differently the power. So 2000 cc on Motec is great. It's amazing. You don't need more fuel. At one time, I had a car with the Motec 2000 cc injectors, and it had port also. So when I started tuning the car, I was tuning just the direct injection, but it was so much fuel, I never could turn it out the port because it doesn't need it. So I start lowering um, the duty and, like, I don't know, 20%, 25%, and it was kind of not a good configuration. Okay, hopefully that answered your question, Pedro. Actually, no, because I haven't tested the pump. But yeah, looking forward, if someone want to try, I'm down, and let's make all the power we can with that pump, and let's see the real world. Um, what else? So about 70% of fuel comes from direct injection, and 30% of fuel come from port injection. Right, under wide open throttle conditions. That will be pretty much the mix of both injectors, how cooperate each other. A wide open throttle. When you are not a wide open throttle, the system run just direct injection. So you run whatever duty or whatever fuel you need, and it doesn't run the port injection. Let's see another question. Why the higher percentage E blend you can run on a stock fuel system? On a stock fuel system, it depends. It depends a lot of the tuner, because if you lean out the AFR target, you can squeeze a lot more fuel, and you can adjust the phase of the injector. It change a lot also. In my experience, I would say the stock fuel system efficiently, I would say 25% max. So you can push the timing without have knock. So 25% will be the max. I will run a stock fuel system and targeting the AFR 12.6, which is kind of lean on my opinion. But is at least I've seen is inspecting combustion chamber engine running at that percentage and that AFR target for about more than a year, and it looks okay. It looks okay. So that's what I will say, around 25% on a stock fuel system. Okay, so to keep the head clean with pore injection, you're gonna do a few pulls a day. Yeah, yeah, I will say do all the pulls that you want. Better, more pull you do, better. Yeah, that for sure. How much power can you make with pore injection? No fuel center unit upgrade. Mm, well, that question is a good question because all the system I tune, I try to don't recommend my fuel sender upgraded fuel sender unit because they are like a shooting for 550 or 500 plus. So in that case, I always recommend you don't have to buy the upgraded fuel system because it doesn't need it. Um, so the benefits you will have running that upgraded fuel sender, is don't deal with the filter is integrated on the basket and the fuel sender unit. The OEM filter is a paper filter. It's pretty good filter. Uh, the filter property is amazing. Um, but it deteriorates all the time. It doesn't matter if you run ethanol or 93 or whatever. So that's it, it will be a nice upgrade for that. Now for getting more fuel, I don't recommend that. I mean, I'm not no needed, no needed. Maybe, and that's the thing with the question. With cars, pushing more power, I always recommend have the fuel sender unit because I like to have enough fuel and not like be at the limit with the fuel. Um, so I haven't tried the limitation, to be honest, of the OEM fuel sender unit. My guessing is up to 580. That will be a 590. That will be the limit. Um, that's my guessing because again, all the cars making more that power, I always recommend have the upgraded fuel sender unit. But it's something I have to try. If it's someone I volunteer, I'm down to test. We'll see what else. Yeah, what does the C stand for? The S.E.S. What it means? That's Shine Electronic Solutions. Is my last name is German, and that's the way I learned how to pronounce my last name. But it doesn't mean it's the proper way. uh, oh, thank you. Yeah, the EFR, um, the EFR is a good turbocharger. I like that tiny EFR 7163. It's a 550 rated horsepower turbo. I always talk about this turbo because it's so responsive, and it has a lot of potential for what it is. This is a very small turbocharger. Um, I was able to make on a good day. Let's talk about a good day. 650 wheels horsepower with that tiny turbo, and let's call about I don't know, regular day, hot day, whatever you're gonna call it, and it was making 625. So I would say it's a 600 plus turbocharger, and it has a really good spool up. It has a good quality. You have to be careful with the oil. You have to be careful how much pressure the oil you run because some cases it damage the seals. So that's the only downside. The other downside, you need a fabrication. In the past, I think a full race, or I don't remember which company used to make a kit for that turbocharger. I don't know the reason why they discontinued that fabrication, but in case you need it, I always offer to do a fabrication. It's not that expensive. It's around a 1500 or 1800 for do the whole fabrication, which is not that much. It's just downpipe will be the charge pipe, the one that goes up right up the outlet of the turbocharger with the blow off valve and inlet pipe. Could be fabricated, or we can use the I don't know if you have the PRO inlet pipe. It works pretty good. It can be doing an adapter for the PRO inlet pipe. Right, right. Yes, Kurt. The full race was a kit. I never asked why they discontinued that kit, to be honest. But it's not a big deal. Again, you can fabricate pretty much a kit for any turbocharger. The problem with this, we go into the fabricator is it won't be production. It will need a car, so it's not like all the kit is gonna come out the same. I tried to do that with my fabricator, but I know I didn't have any successful. He always busy, always with something, and I kind of be on top of that is too much. But it can be done, yes, of course. Right. Full race, yes. The problem with that turbocharger, the EFR, they use for a lot of race cars, a lot of different categories. So if you see Pine Peaks or a lot of this competition, they always use a Bolt Warner. And even I don't know what turbochargers use an IndyCar right now. I'm not sure. But back in time, we used to use this 7163, one turbocharger per side. So today, I don't know what they use, to be honest. So it has a high demand, and every time, for example, when I wanted to get a new turbocharger from Borg Warner, the answer was the same. Like we are stuck because uh, the season start or the season is about to end, or I don't know. That kind of answer is what I had regarding these turbochargers. Pulsar, I would say great experience. At the beginning, it's like I didn't like it, but I didn't like it because people was saying like yeah, this is a competition of Garrett. It's like a knockoff of Garrett, but to be honest, it's a great turbocharger in my opinion. uh, I haven't tuned too many cars on this turbocharger, but the one I tuned, it was working really nice and it's pull up super quick. I was surprised how quick the car responds, and also had a lot of room. Of course, that car didn't have enough fuel for see the full potential, but that car was running. I don't know which pulsar, but will be the one you run, Kurt, the G25 660, I think it is. So it will be like the competition of the Garrett G25 660, and it was running really good. Nice pull up. I love that turbocharger. Also the price, you can beat the price. It's no way any known brand turbocharger. It's a known brand, the Pulsar. I know. I'm saying, like these big brands, you can compete with that price. So yes, I'm if you guys need that brand, I can get it for you. So I can try to give a good deal, even if it's a good deal, whatever you buy the turbocharger. All right. So I guess I'm guessing going back to the port injection, all pretty much all the question are answered. If you have another question, you can type it. If not, we can talk about another on any other subject. It's okay. Um, but yeah, basically, the port injection run in OEMECU. It can run full 85 on the FL5 we test on the FK8. The Accord is pretty much the same thing. So I haven't tested an Accord, but I'm pretty sure it will work perfectly fine on Accord too. And you don't need to upgrade the fuel system. If you have already upgraded the fuel system, will be better. And and yes, this is a pretty solid system. If I study electronics, yes, I did. I did. I did by myself. It was a long story, but basically, my dad is a electronic engineer back in time, and he used to do stuff as a hobby, and he had a lot of library. And when I was a kid, I was watching those books, and it caught my attention and started messing with that, and that's how everything started at the age of 8 years old. That when everything started with electronics. Do you recommend the fuel sender upgrade for a direct injection only car? Yes, yes. I mean, the reason I will recommend that direct injection upgraded fuel sender system will be for the reason you have an external fuel filter and it's replaceable. So whatever happen is easy to access to the filter. It's not expensive. The filter replacement is not expensive. The unit is kind of expensive because it takes a lot of time. At least my unit, the one I sell, it takes me a lot of time to build and get the parts, and it has a lot of manual work. You know, on all the pieces you need to modify the whole fuel sender unit in order to put to fit properly this bigger low pressure fuel pump. I'm using the Walro 450, and the main reason is because that Walro 450 can supply enough fuel for make around, let's say, 700, 800 uh, wheels horsepower with a good fuel system. And if you go with higher or bigger fuel pump, you're gonna need to upgrade also the wire harness of the car because it's gonna consume or drain that much power amperage, and it's gonna overload the system. You're gonna kill the relays. You're gonna kill the fuse. And again, I like to make solution and no problems. You know, not create problems or make everything overcomplicated. So for that reason, I run that low pressure fuel pump. And Walbro is a known brand with a lot of years experience, so it's reliable fuel pump. Mm, yeah, this is something new. I'm not sure if people like it or not. I'm trying to again make it simple and don't get overcomplicated with technical areas or aspects that I really know I understand, and then I don't see the point. I just try to get more information as I can, and that's it. Yeah, well, next time maybe we can talk about the gear set. There's a lot of things we can talk about. Is this so, Pedro? You have a question about graph gears. What gears do you recommend? I was thinking third and fourth, but not sure if you think the others are needed. Um, it's all dependent on what is your goal with the car. Let's say your goal is just make prevent from breaking the fourth gear. That's the first gear is gonna go out if you start pushing more than 550. On my experience, it's kind of complicated this subject because it has so much variables. Uh, you're gonna hear a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm making 1,000 horsepower with the stock clutch, stock transmission, and nothing breaks." Yeah, I want to see how many races and etc. etc. This depends how you use the car and also the components you have. If you have a stock clutch, the stock clutch is gonna damper that torque. So let's say you are making flat foot shifting and you have a nice setup of slicks on your car. So if you down the clutch, the slick is not gonna spin, but you're gonna spin the clutch. So that's gonna save you for breaking the fourth gear. Now, if you have a upgraded clutch, you have a nice tires, and you really making good torque and power, I'm pretty sure that fourth gear is not gonna last that much. For example, back in time, the people start breaking the fourth gear at the road course. and they are not making that much power. It's making like a 400 for 420 torque or something like that. And these guys was running a aggregate clutch, and I was running good tires. And I'm talking about the guys really beating the car on the road course, and they were breaking the fourth gear. So it doesn't need that much torque and power to break it. It depends on the application. For street racing or road races, whatever you want to call them, I will say after 450, I will get that fourth gear aggregate. If you're gonna go with more power, I will do the third gear, and then the fifth and sixth gear I'll do in case you wanna have like um, better gearing, because it's important depending the power you make, and the gearing is depending how you can make the car make it faster or not. That's why sometimes we speak with the guys, and we talk about tires, and I go, look, the most important a tire is in my opinion, is the overall diameter. For example, if you the stock overall diameter is 25.6 inches, right? The overall diameter. So and you run a tire of 26 inches, the car is going to change the ratio. The final ratio is going to be shifted a little bit. So the first is going to be a little bit taller, second is going to be a little bit taller, third, fourth, everything's going to be a little bit taller. That's going to benefit you if you have more power. If you don't have the power, it's going to be slow. It's going to become heavy, the car. So with the proper gear ratio, you can change that. You can make, for example, the higher gears shorter, so you will make more torque, and the car will pick up speed quickly, and that's what you want. But the lower gears, you don't want to gear that short, because the only you're going to do is spin the wheels, and the car is going to be in the same spot. So that's important when you see, for example, cameras on the dash, right? You see that dash video and say, oh, look at how pick out the speed, how quick accelerate. Okay, but how much speed is carrier per gear? That's the most important. You can make a pull in first gear, super quick. You will see the tachometer going like I don't know, like a thunder, and then what else? The speedometer is gonna pick up that speed, spinning the wheel like 0 from 30 miles per hour. But it's just for 30 miles per hour, that's nothing. Now, if you see that speedometer go like 65 on first gear, you say, holy shit. So it's about that, It's kind of complicated, but I'm guessing we can talk about more in deep on the next live. Let me see. What about temp control? What temp control are we talking about? I don't know if you can be more specific. I'm guessing the next time I'm gonna I'm gonna change those. I think I have 30 second or 60 second per question. Um, yeah, I'm trying to configure this the best as possible, but I guess uh, it could be annoying for you guys. For my car, no, I will drive. I will never do. I will drive. No, not on this platform. Of course, you could. What I explained to everybody, when you start adding more components to the drivetrain, and you adding more losses. So if you plan to do an all-wheel drive car, it means you need to make at least 1,000 horsepower plus if you want to make it fast. But what is the problem to make 1,000 horsepower? To make that power, you need a big turbocharger, and that will be the quickest road to make 1,000 horsepower. The problem with that big turbocharger is going to be super slow at low end. So to me, it's a big no. I mean, maybe for a car on the quarter mile, maybe it will benefit, with that amount of power and a slow turbo, because you're gonna run anti-lag, and so that you're gonna compensate. But on the street, I don't see myself driving a car with no response on low end. I prefer make less power, like I will say If you give me a choice, 700, 750, and 600, but more responsive, I choose the 600 all day. Nothing like have a good response when you need it. That's my opinion. It's all-wheel drive. No, 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 no. Who knows? Never say no. Or never say never. All right, guys. I don't know if you have any other question. I think we can end it up here so we don't make this that long, and we can plan in the next live. Do you think a secondary radiator is effective or needed for consistent power? Mm, that question is kind of. It depends. It depends. For example, in my case, is again it depends the application. For people running on the road course, where you're gonna you're gonna carry a speed, but at the same time, with the corners and all that, the car is the problem with the car when it's revving high all the time. When it's revving high all the time, the temperature raise a lot. So you probably will need a secondary radiator for sure, and you will need a good oil cooler, maybe dual oil cooler, and also a turbocharger upgrade that's gonna decompress the combustion chamber a lot. It's gonna lower the temperature, and I will run fully 85. That's what I will do, and that way you're gonna keep the car very happy with the ECT in check, also the oil temperature in check. But now, if that question applies, car running on the street, like let's say a street racer, road racer, I don't see the point to upgrade the radiator. For example, that's what I'm about to say. In my case, I had the upgraded radiator for a couple of years, and that radiator broke, and so I decided to go back to the stock. And then I noticed the temperature were actually really good, really good, just with the stock radiator. So that's what I'm running right now, and it's making 600 plus a car. And I'm not saying it's the faster one or it's the most powerful car, but I think it's making good power. So I think the reason why it runs so cool at low temperature is because running full 85, running the proper AFR ratio, not running lean, running on the proper. What is a proper AFR ratio? It's not something I made up or something I choose. Or, oh yeah, these numbers and it looks good. Let's run it. No, it's a table for design. That this table, is for study for years, and you can see the proper air fuel ratio for any fuel, methanol, ethanol, 93, nitrous, whatever you want to run. And that's is made for years. So you will see the proper air fuel ratio. So the air fuel ratio for 85, I will say, is around 12, 11.7. That will be, the proper air fuel ratio for running full 85 or ethanol mix. Unfortunately, again, with direct injection, you have to run lean because that is the only way to squeeze that fuel. Well, that's something different, but it's not the proper way. So running the proper air fuel ratio, running a turbocharger not that small, so you have that combustion chamber evacuating properly fast. You don't temperature of the combustion chamber is very low, and also I'm running this dual oil cooler, so that all that combination keep the temperature in check. And also I don't know if you guys seen that heat extractor, that lowers I have on the middle of the hood, that really helps also with that temperature. Makes sense. Thank you. Already answered the question of mine. I'm interested in more information about the port injection. Yeah, sure, absolutely, man. Anything you want to know, you can ask a question here. If not, I'm trying to answer everything I can on the my chat on my Instagram. Something I wanted to clarify is sometimes I don't answer right away because running the shop, making the modules, purchasing the components, pay all the bills for the shop, and then all that stuff. It takes a lot of time. And usually, when I do some work on the shop, some work are really complicated. So imagine taking apart something, you have your gloves on it, and you can't really take care of the other stuff. You need to like finish something and then go jump on the other stuff. So I apologize for all that people that really don't get an answer right away, or sometimes they have to wait like a few days for get an answer from me. And it's not like I'm ignoring, because what I do usually I check the cell phone. I can see the message, but I don't answer the message. So then all the time I go through the message and reply the message. But sometimes maybe I can skip one because I forgot or whatever. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it, and we can finish here. So I know you guys has to go to sleep and have family to take care. But yeah, we'll do another one, and maybe we can talk about the gear set. We can talk about whatever you guys want. Will you be working with the Acura Integra Type S? Yeah, of course. I forgot about the car. But yes, actually, the port injection, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work for that Acura Integra because it's pretty much very similar, very similar with the FL5. So I would say yes. Whatever I decide for FL5, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work for the Acura Integra, the DE5. So that for sure. So if there's someone interested with the Integra to run the port injection, I'm down and we can make it happen. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Let's see how I. All right, guys. I'm gonna be cutting this light out. All right. See you soon, guys.